Hey everyone, Blizzard just concluded their announcement of the new expansion of WoW, Dragonflight, which is looking pretty awesome. But along with that, they also talked and gave us a first look at the new installment of World of Warcraft Classic, Wrath of the Lich King. Holly Longdale, lead producer of Classic, sat down and spoke for a few minutes about some of the new features coming with Classic Wrath, some new additions, and mostly some changes. Today we're gonna go through each point that she mentioned in depth and see what it all entails for us Classic WoW players, and how that will affect Wrath Classic. And then we'll even talk about how you can sign up for the beta, which a lot of you probably didn't even realize you could do yet. So without further ado, here's 7 things you may have missed about the Classic Wrath of the Lich King announcement. Let's get into it. Number 1, and probably most importantly, Classic Wrath of the Lich King is coming in 2022. That's this year and we're already almost in May. This means that at the very most, we have 7 months left of Classic Burning Crusade before Wrath releases. Classic TBC released in June 1st, Classic WoW before that in August 27th, and I have a feeling Classic Wrath will release somewhere in summer as well. We mentioned this in our previous video, but it seems like Blizzard is rushing Classic TBC very fast. We're 320 days into TBC as of writing this video, and Sunwell already appeared and concluded on the PTR servers. Phase 4 is only like a month fresh at this point, and since the release of TBC, it's been feeling like the phases have been flying insanely fast one after the other. There's benefits and downsides to this cadence, of course, but I feel like even if you're a super hardcore player, Blizzard is just not giving you enough time to appreciate the game. Not to talk about the casual players. I feel like it's impossible at this point to catch up looking at how fast things are going. So yeah, for better or for worse, that's Blizzard's plans. They want to rush TBC to release Wrath sooner rather than later, so that all of that lines up nicely with Dragonflight. Next up, you'll be able to make a Death Knight that starts at level 55 without any prior requirements. If you played original Wrath, or any retail expansion for the matter until Warlords of Draenor, you probably know that to make a Death Knight, you used to be required to have at least one level 55 character on the realm you were making that Death Knight on. Furthermore, you could only have one Death Knight at most per server. Well, not anymore in Classic Wrath. Everyone, regardless of if they have a high-level character or not, will be able to make a Death Knight as they please in Classic Wrath. This means that for better or for worse, we'll be seeing the Red class much more in Classic Wrath now. Everyone who will jump into the game for the first time will probably default to making a Death Knight and skipping 55 levels, because why not really? Finally, regarding Death Knights, Holly Longdale also mentioned that you will, in pre-patch, be able to create and play one. So this means that you should really start preparing some plate gear for your Death Knight right away, if you want to make one in pre-patch. And in general, specifically if you want to main a Death Knight in Wrath, you should absolutely start preparing a lot of stuff. Mainly speaking with your guild and looking at a potential raid spot for you. Death Knights will be on super high supply in Wrath, and you definitely want to guarantee yourself a raiding spot if you want to play one. Moving on, the Dungeon Finder. Holly Longdale mentioned that the Dungeon Finder is not a good fit for Classic, and that essentially it will not be present in Classic Wrath like it used to be in original Wrath. But what exactly is the Dungeon Finder, and why is it such a big deal for Blizzard? The Dungeon Finder, not to be mistaken for the looking for group tool we currently have in Burning Crusade Classic, is an automated matchmaking tool where you get to tick your role, choose the dungeon of your choice, and be matched with 4 other random players on your whole region to complete said dungeon. Originally, you could do normal and heroic dungeons with it, and then later on obviously we could even do raids with it at the end of Cataclysm. So yeah, that's not coming in Classic Wrath. Blizzard thinks that that's antithetical to the philosophy of Classic, and John Haidt even said that the Dungeon Finder was the first step that eroded the social fabric of World of Warcraft. Now of course, the Dungeon Finder had a lot of cons in Wrath, but also a few benefits. Namely, the fact that if you were stuck on a smaller server that didn't have as much PvE activity going on, the Dungeon Finder allowed you to matchmake with anyone on your whole region, lowering the time required for you to complete your heroic daily or to just gear up a fresh level 80 character by a significant amount. If you're on a low populated server in Classic Wrath, you will not have that luxury. In fact, staying on a low populated server in Wrath will be a huge mistake for pretty much anyone who is interested in any high-level content. That's something we mentioned in our 7 mistakes to avoid doing in Wrath video, which you should check by the way. The good news is, however, that Blizzard offers free server transfers off of those low pop servers quite often, so as soon as you see one active, take advantage of it. Of course, the Dungeon Finder had a lot of downsides too, most infamous of which being the fact that you had no clue who you were going to be matched with. Worst case scenario, you'd get a warrior tank that actually isn't spec'd as prot and that has no tanking gear at all, and simply chose the tank option because that's faster to queue up with. Suddenly, you're stuck and you have to all agree to kick him and wait or just leave yourself. The Dungeon Finder certainly wasn't ideal in Wrath for sure either. It's worth mentioning, however, that this decision that Blizzard made is definitely reversible. If you don't like this and want the Dungeon Finder back in the game, make sure your voice is heard in a constructive manner. There's many decisions that Blizzard reverted in the past since Classic launched in 2019 until this very day, and I'm sure a lot more decisions like these can be reverted to in the future. Next up, the Barbershop. So Wrath of the Lich King is the expansion where the Barbershop was introduced, and originally it was a very bare bones system. It was, in the full sense of the word, a barbershop. You could only change your hairstyle, facial hair, and at the very most your piercings or markings. Well, Blizzard wants to add way more customization to the Barbershop. Nothing crazy from newer expansions like Shadowlands, of course, but stuff that you could get in Wrath through ordering a character customization service, for example. So your character's skin color, face, and I'm betting gender too. You could only get that by paying for a character customization, race change, or faction change in Wrath. Now, you'll be able to do that as you will in Classic Wrath. I think that's a straight up win-win, honestly. Speaking for myself here, when I made my Night Elf in Classic in 2019, I wish I had chosen a less pale skin color for her. And I knew once I noticed that way down the line that I'd be stuck with that until Classic Cataclysm. I'm glad to know that I'll be able to change that in Wrath, and I'm sure a lot of you have similar feelings too. Obviously, that's also probably just a PR stunt to an extent. They mentioned that this used to cost you money to change these things, and they feel like you shouldn't have to pay money for that. It screams PR to me, but as I said, this is a win-win and I'm not gonna be complaining for this. Please do more things like these, Blizzard. Here's a small but significant change: the removal of arena teams. Arena teams were still a thing in Wrath and all the way until the Siege of Orgrimmar patch in Mist of Pandaria, at which point Blizzard decided to allow any player to team up with any player of their choice and queue for arena as they wish. And they replaced the arena rating system with the personal rating system. All that matters now for you to buy your high-end arena gear is your own personal rating, and you didn't have to worry about participating in a certain number of matches with your team or keep rotating your team members so that they all would receive arena points. All of that was gone, and that's also going away in Classic Wrath. Moving on, the level boost. In Burning Crusade Classic, Blizzard introduced the level 58 boost, which gave you a super basic set of gear, a mount, and that was only usable once per account. And that created a huge debate in the community, which we'll get to in a second. But without much surprise, they're doing that again in Wrath, and this time it's not just level 68, but 70. Blizzard's goal with this, as Holly Longdale stated, is so that players who want to get in with their friends or just explore Northrend right away will be able to do that if they want. You will not be able to apply this boost to a Death Knight, however, interestingly enough, not sure why honestly, but you can apply it to any other class of your choice. So the level boost, highly controversial feature that made it to WoW originally in Warlords of Draenor, but that Blizzard feels like it's important to bring to Classic. Since then, players have been arguing that not only is that antithetical to the philosophy of Classic, but it also makes it so that bots have an easier access to the endgame and start doing their things and ruining the economy. I don't know how true this is honestly, but yeah, for better or for worse, it is coming back to Wrath and it's level 70 now. Last but certainly not least, the beta. You probably didn't even realize the beta signups are up for Classic Wrath until this video, and that's because neither Blizzard nor Wowhead mentioned it. I myself stumbled upon it by chance by going on the WoW website to prepare this video. To sign up for the beta, it's very simple. Go to the link in the video description, make sure you're logged into your account first, click the beta opt-in button, and then click it again down here. And voila, you're now signed up, and if you're lucky, you'll see the option pop up on your launcher soon enough. We obviously don't have any words on when the beta will be up. It more than likely will not be up for at the very least a month, I think, because Sunwell isn't even out as of the time of writing this video. Although I feel like it will be very soon, seeing how fast they closed the PTR testing for it. So I would expect betas to start popping up on people's launchers sometime like a month or so after the launch of Sunwell. If you want to guarantee yourself to join the beta, last year before the launch of Classic TBC, Blizzard actually gave us a few beta keys to give away on the channel, and I feel like they might do that again for Classic Wrath. No promises of course, but if you don't want to miss that, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you want to increase your chances to be selected for the beta, the more you play the game, the more you participate in the public test realms, and the more bugs you report, the more Blizzard will see you as someone who could be a useful tester for a potential beta, and thus increase your chances to be selected. So the best bet to join the beta is to just play the game as much as you can, and of course remember to sign up for it. And that's pretty much everything that was announced on the WoW expansion reveal today. Blizzard announced that Wrath will be coming in 2022, and we got a bunch of changes announced already, and I'm sure way more are coming in the future. For now, make sure to sign up for the beta and let us know what you think of these changes in the comments. Maybe someone from Blizzard stumbles on this video and your comment will appear to them. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, remember to give it a like and subscribe to the Classic WoW Curios channel for more content like this. My name is Numidia, and I will see you guys in the next one very soon. Bye for now.